This is London.
Welcome to LDN Capital TV. I'm Fiona Fox and you're watching the very best in British wrestling action right here on the Fight Network. It's a special week here on Capital TV. The LDN British Champion is back in action and he'll be defending his title later in the hour against Mike Mendoza. It's the most important championship title in British wrestling and Yorghos will do whatever he can to keep it strapped tightly around his waist. But Mendoza has proven he'll do whatever it takes to get it off him. Will we see a new British champion crowned right here on Capital TV? Stay tuned to find out. And in the London Eye, we'll have an update on the condition of Hakan, news from the camp of the legendary Kendo Nagasaki and more besides. But right now, let's head to ringside for our first match and join our man with the microphone, Mr. TV, John Atkins.
Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to LDN Capital TV, right here on the Fight Network, the only British wrestling show on television anywhere in the world today. And you're watching it right here in Totteridge. We have got two great matches for you. Firstly, an intergender match as Jetta returns to LDN to take on Sean King. Then later in the hour, we will see the LDN British Championship defended as Yorghos takes on Mike Mendoza. It's a great show and a packed hour of wrestling. Take a look there, Jetta in the ring, down to our ring announcer, Mr. Sanjay Bagga, for the announcements.
Heading from Coventry, please welcome Jetta!
And it's been a good few months since we have seen Jetta in an LDN ring. I believe the last time she appeared on Capital TV, she was taking on another young man by the name of John David Bernard Bruno Chapman, who she defeated. Sean King making his way to the ring now. And I have a feeling he may put up more of a match than Chapman was able to. Nonetheless, we shall see intergender competition kicking off this week's edition of Capital TV. And Sean King looks to have a right knock on. Jetta, of course, the top women's wrestler in the UK today. And she has wrestled throughout Europe and the States as well. Sean King looks to be in great shape for this contest. Referee Chris Roberts assigned the bout, checking out the footwear and ring gear of King before he's going to let this one go. And the fans here at Totteridge solidly behind Jetta. As I was saying, the top women's wrestling star in the UK today. Still a young lady, but a wealth of experience behind her. She wrestled in the States for the first time in 2007. And she has also wrestled throughout Europe as well. But she considers LDN to be her home, and it's great to have her back here this week on Capital TV to take on Sean King. And I have heard there are plenty of other women who are very keen to take on Jetta. But she almost feels that she is past the women's division here in LDN, and she would rather take on men. She wants to test herself as much as she can here in LDN. But I sometimes worry she's going to bite off more than she can chew, as Sean King looks like he means business here this week. Wrist lock here from King. Jetta down to her knees. Nice reversal, still hook caught in the hold. King gets a foot on the ropes. King goes behind with a hammerlock. Both of these wrestlers very solidly schooled in the fundamentals of wrestling. Jetta looking for a counter. Goes behind and she gets one. Reversing it into a hammerlock of her own. And straight into a headlock. Nice takedown. Might be able to get a cover. The shoulders of King not down on the mat though. King able to use his strength advantage. Nearly gets Jetta over for the cover himself. But Jetta still dominating here in this match. Coming up later in the hour, we will see Yorghos Christopoulos, the fighting champion. He has already wrestled so many men since winning the championship late last year. And tonight he is going to defend his title against Mike Mendoza. He recently wrestled Mal Sanders not 3 weeks ago. But he said he is willing to take on all comers, and fans, Jetta doing very well indeed. She is turning things around very quickly. And King looks to be going to the outside. He may well have underestimated his opponent here today. He's getting a breather. He is going to take advantage of that referee's count. And he doesn't seem to be in any rush to get back into the ring. And why not? Collect your thoughts, gather yourself a little bit, and then get back into the ring. Slow the pace of the match down. Oh my, well, that was a clear thumb to the eye from my vantage point, and I think Chris Roberts saw it as well. And he is warning King, if he didn't see it, he certainly suspects. But indeed, he can't call it if he didn't see it. And so King gets away with that one. But a blatant thumb to the eye. And that might have turned the tide of the match in his favour. And that is a blatant chokehold there from Sean King. And I must just send out a big thank you to Elspeth Barthrop for sending in this delightful LDN sweater that she knitted herself. I've been wearing this all morning. And it really is delightful, so thank you very much indeed for that, Elspeth. And indeed, if any of you want to send us letters here at LDN, there's contact information on ldnwrestling.com, where you can find out all the information about upcoming LDN live events and television schedules as well. ldnwrestling.com, and a big thank you again to Elspeth for sending in this lovely LDN jumper that she knitted herself. It's a lovely jumper. Thank you very much, Elspeth. And she says that she always enjoys watching Jetta wrestle, so hopefully she's going to be enjoying tonight's show. Nice roll up there from Jetta. She might just score the win.
Come on!
These are dangerous days.
Well, King receives a public warning there, I believe for a closed fist, but we'll have to get the official word later on from the referee. But he is keeping a very close eye on Sean King after his previous indiscretions earlier in the match. He's warning him about hair pulling. He's already used a thumb to the eye, and now trying to choke out Jetta on that middle rope. Chris Roberts really trying to get control of this match and get Jetta back up to her feet. Jetta now finds herself in a compromising position, but she's turned things around to her advantage, and Sean King is crotched upon the top rope. And now Jetta just giving that rope a good shaking, punishing the groin of Sean King. And Jetta not receiving a public warning. Oh, a big blow to the back there. And that sent Jetta down, face first into the bottom turnbuckle by the look of things. King saying he's going to continue with the punishment, trying to get the fans behind him. I think it's far too late for that. No doubt about it, Sean King is in absolutely fantastic shape. And I might suggest that there is no way that Jetta can match him for power or strength. But as I've always said here on Capital TV, when it comes to wrestling, a good wrestler should be able to grapple their way out of any situation. Any wrestler should be able to beat any fighter on any given day, and if Jetta can out-wrestle Sean King, then there's no reason at all why she can't come away with the win from this contest. Nice jawbreaker from Jetta there, a desperation move, but that's exactly what I was talking about. She pulled that maneuver out of her arsenal of wrestling moves, caught Sean King off guard, and socked him one in the jaw. Now takes him out on the bottom of the leg, knocks the big man down. Jetta looks to take advantage, goes over the top, rolls up the leg. They get... Oh, just a 2 count, so very close. But Jetta just turned this thing around in a hurry. Goes for the flying leg scissors, teases it, there's a roll-up, and this time she does get it. There's a 3 out of nowhere. A huge win there for Jetta against the much larger Sean King. Take a look at this. Looks to be going for the flying head scissors, releases it in midair, and instead goes for the roll-up, and that caught Sean King totally unaware. And Jetta walks away with the win here tonight on LDN Capital TV. A big win for Jetta and a great match as well. Great to see Jetta back here in LDN. And Sean King cannot believe it. King has got all the tools to go all the way to the top, but he lost here tonight on Capital TV to Jetta. Fans, coming up next, the LDN British Championship is on the line as Mike Mendoza finally gets a shot at the belt, held by Yorghos Christopoulos. All that plus the London Eye coming up next here on Capital TV.
Hi, I'm Fiona Fox and welcome to the London Eye. First things first, you'll be pleased to know that Hakan, who bravely took the place of British champ Yorghos in a brutal 6-man tag match 2 weeks ago, appears to have made a reasonably full recovery and is about to return to training at the LDN Academy. As you no doubt have seen, the historic return of British legend Kendo Nagasaki in 6-man action a fortnight ago was a wild and crazy affair. Nagasaki proved to be just as dangerous in the ring as he's ever been, planting the young Hakan through a table and brutalising him with a ringside chair. After the match, Hakan was rushed to hospital where he remained for 2 days.
And Nagasaki now in the ring for the first time in a decade. The first time in a decade, the legend of Nagasaki. But my goodness. And he has thrown Hakan to the outside. He just threw Hakan clean over the top rope. And his power slammed him on the ringside table. I can't believe this. He is picking up the table. And he's just slammed it over the head of Hakan. I cannot believe what I'm seeing. And he smashed the chair. Steve Linton can't believe what he is seeing. Kendo Nagasaki beating up a man, I dare say, less than half his age. Nagasaki absolutely dominating the youngster. And you can see he has removed one of the ringside turnbuckle covers. And I'm sure he'll be looking forward to taking advantage of that later in the contest. Sends out Hakan again to the outside, straight over the top rope. And this time Hakan missing the table and landing on the hard wooden floor. And Fowler on the outside, continuing the onslaught. The arms are hooked. Oh my goodness, a double underarm suplex. And a cover, a pinfall there from Kendo Nagasaki.
And as we revealed last week here on the London Eye, the first person to visit him was the man he replaced in the match, LDN British champion Yorghos. Since leaving hospital, Yorghos has apparently been a constant companion to Hakan, providing him with support, advice and this week finally convincing him to return to training at the LDN Academy. These two new friends have been brought together in part by their hatred of Kendo Nagasaki, and also Yorghos has been helping to train the young Hakan, no doubt in preparation for a rematch somewhere down the line.
A popular announcement there from Yorghos.
What is that ridiculous thing? This is the British heavyweight. It means nothing. It means nothing. You are out of here.
Well, I certainly don't agree with the sentiments of Goff there. Yorghos Christopoulos, the LDN British champion, he is holding the most important belt in British wrestling.
We've heard this week through Kendo Nagasaki's associates that Nagasaki feels he has nothing left to prove after his successful return to the squared circle and may never wrestle again. Despite this, we've heard that Nagasaki is still set to make a limited number of personal appearances at live LDN events later in the year, and it seems unlikely that Yorghos would be willing to let the matter drop. In fact, Yorghos was overheard saying that if Nagasaki didn't respond to him directly, he'd be left with no option but to take matters into his own hands. What this means precisely, we can't say for sure, but it does mean that if you get the chance to catch a live LDN event in your town, you won't want to pass it up. Well, that's all we've got time for on the London Eye this week. Coming up next, it's main event time and the LDN British Championship is on the line.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest is set for one fall and it's for the LDN British Championship and belt. Introducing first the challenger, hailing from Alton in London, please welcome Mike Mendoza.
Well, fans, main event time here this week on LDN Capital TV, exclusively on the Fight Network. In comes the challenger, Mike Mendoza, for this LDN British Championship title matchup. We are bringing it to you exclusively on Capital TV, and LDN Capital TV is the only British wrestling show on television anywhere in the world today. And indeed, the LDN British Championship belt is the most important championship in the country, and Mike Mendoza wants to wear that gold belt around his waist. Yorghos, of course, finally defeated John Ritchie for the championship at Legend Showdown. And he has been a fighting champion ever since. He has taken on all comers. Tex Benedict, Ricky Hype. 3 weeks ago, Mal Sanders, who I believe has recently retired, and we send Mal Sanders our very best wishes. And now tonight, Yorghos Christopoulos is defending the championship against Mike Mendoza in what might just be his toughest challenge to date.
His opponent, originally hailing from Athens in Greece. He is the LDN British champion, Yorghos Christopoulos.
And a great ovation here for the champion, Yorghos Christopoulos, a fan favourite wherever he goes, but particularly here in Totteridge. The LDN British champion proudly carrying that big gold belt, the most important championship in the country today. And fans, if you are serious about wrestling in England or in the United Kingdom, that is the belt you would be gunning for. And Mike Mendoza knows just how much it's worth to him. And that is why you can bet he is going to do whatever it takes. You can bet he's going to do whatever it takes to win that belt from Yorghos here on Capital TV. It's going to be a great main event, and we are proud and excited to bring it to you. Of course, we were robbed of seeing Yorghos in action just a couple of weeks ago here on Capital TV. He was all set to be a part of the big six-man Kendo Nagasaki tag team match, teaming with Robbie Brookside and Phil Powers. But Atlantis Kronos Goth refused to validate the contract. They did not approve of Yorghos as a partner, and they insisted he was replaced. Let's go down to our ring announcer, Steve Litton.
These are dangerous days. Dangerous days.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, before the contest begins, I've been given a message to tell you all by the challenger, and I quote, "You are the ugliest idiots I've ever seen in my life." He says, "I am the sexiest wrestler in the UK, and he wants each and every one of you to bow down because he is Mike Mendoza."
Mike Mendoza looks to be in absolute tip-top condition for this matchup. Whether the fans like it or not, he has done his homework. He looks to be in the best shape of his life. And referee Chris Roberts ensuring there is no way he is getting his hands on that belt before he wins it. And rightly so. And Yorghos with the mic. He's a man of few words, but let's hear what he's got to say.
Know your people here. No, I think Mikey Mendoza should care about less what he looks like and more on his wrestling, because lately you've been nothing but a loser.
He's got a point. It's been a checkered win-loss record in recent months for Mendoza. Nonetheless, the LDN Championship Committee have determined that Mendoza is the #1 contender. And he is getting a shot here on Capital TV this week. And outwardly confident, you can bet Yorghos will have prepared vigorously for this matchup. He might have a smile on his face, but he is by no means taking Mendoza lightly. Well, it's a championship match, but unlike many championship matches, this is going to be fought over one fall. It is not a Spirit Rules match. It'll be fought one fall to a finish. And we just heard the opening bell there. And this matchup now officially underway. Referee Chris Roberts made sure both wrestlers know exactly what the rules are. Nobody can have any excuses. This is going to be an exciting contest, no doubt about it, and a very worthy main event here on Capital TV. Next week, of course, on Capital TV, we will see the man that Yorghos defeated for the championship, John Ritchie. He'll be taking on the man Yorghos was going to team with just a couple of weeks ago, Phil Powers. And we'll also see Tex Benedict take on Jason Sweet Sensation. So two great matches to look forward to next week, but a collar and elbow tie-up and a rather disappointing slap to the face there from Mendoza, showing scant regard for his opponent or the referee. And Mendoza needs to get his attitude in check, or he is going to risk being disqualified. And all credit to Yorghos for being a fighting champion. As I mentioned earlier, he has taken on all comers since winning the championship belt late last year. Not only that, he has wrestled on an almost nightly basis on LDN shows up and down the country in tag team and singles competition. And you can bet if you see an LDN live event somewhere near you, Yorghos almost certainly going to be appearing. Such a solid wrestler. Absolutely remarkable athlete. He is in great shape, but more importantly than that, he has got fantastic amateur credentials. He is, of course, originally from Athens, Greece. He learnt wrestling while most of us were learning how to read and write. He started at a very young age. He wrestled throughout high school, winning a number of amateur trophies. He turned professional just a couple of years ago when he moved to the United Kingdom. He made his home in LDN. And he basically worked his way up from the bottom of the ladder to the top of the tree to become the LDN British Champion. And perhaps the most popular wrestler to ever wrestle in an LDN ring. Mike Mendoza, formerly a good friend of Yorghos, but Mendoza sadly suffered a very serious injury about a year ago now. It was thought he'd never return from the injury, but when he did, he was never the same since, and physically he seems to be better than ever. Certainly looks to be in great shape. Oh, there's a cover. But mentally, Yorghos just has not been the same. He is... Mike Mendoza has not been the same. He is a different person. He is an arrogant, self-centered individual. And as Yorghos hinted at the beginning of the match, Mendoza seems to be far more concerned with basically looking at his own reflection than wrestling a good match. Nonetheless, Mendoza has got so much natural talent. He is indeed the #1 contender, and he has been granted this championship matchup today. And I suspect he will make the most of it. Certainly a very back and forth counter so far. Both men looking for the advantage. And neither man really gets it, but I think Mendoza just gave a swift kick to the nose of Yorghos. And Yorghos checking that it's not broken. And I think luckily Mendoza didn't really put the full force of his boot behind it. Because if he'd wanted to, he could have taken Yorghos' face off. But referee Chris Roberts keeping a sharp eye on both men. And he is checking that front face lock doesn't slide down into a chokehold. Certainly wouldn't put anything past Mendoza. Yorghos seems to be weakening. He is down on his knees and indeed face first on the mat. And Mendoza drops an elbow to the spine. And now Yorghos really, for the first time in this match, looks like he might be in trouble as Mendoza comes off the top and drops another elbow to the back. Continuing to work hard on the head and shoulders of Yorghos. And remarkable strength there from Mike Mendoza. Yorghos looking for a counter. He is able to take advantage of the vulnerable joint at the back of the knee for Mendoza. Nice headstand there from Yorghos. Just easing himself out of that move and reversing it into one of his own. It's a great counter. And I've already talked about Yorghos' amateur credentials, but of course, he has been a professional for several years now. And he studied not just tapes of amateur wrestlers, he watched many of the tapes of the old World of Sport days. He is a big fan of the 70s and the 80s and the top stars, many of whom we saw at Legends Showdown and many of whom we still see on a regular basis at LDN. And I would not be surprised if that is where he picked up moves such as that headstand counter there. Nonetheless, he gets caught with a big boot from Mendoza, right to the stomach. Mendoza now going through a camel clutch-like maneuver. Just wrenching back the chin, and he's pulling the hair, and he gets admonished there by the official. And that's a good call, and you have to keep your eyes on Mendoza at all times. Now the fingers up the nostrils, and he gets the count there as well. And you have to wonder why he takes such shortcuts, because a perfectly executed camel clutch may well have garnered the submission hold that he needed. He may well have got the submission from Yorghos right there and then. But instead he went to hook the nostrils, he pulled the hair, and the ref forced him to break the hold. Now he's got that half Boston Crab. And Mendoza really impressing tonight with his technical abilities. He might give the impression of being a self-centered, vain young man, only interested in his own appearance. But you can tell he has been training very hard indeed for this bout. He hasn't had a championship match for a long time. And much like any other wrestler in the United Kingdom today worth his salt, he would dearly love to win the British Championship belt. There's a cover, and just a two.
These are dangerous days.
Hoists up Yorghos for the vertical suplex. Unbelievable strength from Mendoza. A half-hearted cover though. This time he hooks the leg, but Yorghos with time to recover and still gets a shoulder up. And Mendoza's tactics seem to be revealing themselves to us. He slowed down Yorghos, trying to cut off that wind supply, keeping Yorghos on the mat, not giving him a chance to apply any of his own amateur-style submission holds on Mendoza. He's just slowing him right down, blocking his windpipes. Yorghos trying to fight back, trying to get out, and he does. Comes off the ropes, ducks a clothesline. Can't duck a second, though. big leg drop from Mike Mendoza, and that could be all. But it's not again. Yorghos kicks out. And that looked to be a closed fist. That looked to be a closed fist. Referee keeping a keen eye on Mendoza. And again, back to that hold, that rear naked chokehold. It's a legal maneuver, but it is just inches away from blocking the windpipe, and the referee checking it doesn't slide down into an illegal hold. Nonetheless, the oxygen supply being cut off Yorghos. And he should be weakening, but somehow he's finding a second wind. With the fans behind him, his adrenaline is surging. Finally breaks out, comes off the ropes. This time he ducks 2 clotheslines, pulls himself off the middle rope, and lands hard in the chest of Mendoza. Mendoza goes down hard. This time he finds himself whipped across the ring. And now Mendoza goes down. Big drop kick there from Yorghos. It's one of the moves that he's famed for. Trying to decide how to counter. Decides to drop the knee to the face. Hooks the leg, that's a good cover. But Mendoza's still too powerful. It's Yorghos who's taken the bulk of the punishment in this match. And Mendoza's still too strong. But the arms are hooked, and that's a great overhead suplex, and that might be enough. But Mendoza's still kicking out. The championship belt is on the line, both men giving it everything they've got. Yorghos looking for a roll-up. Only gets a 1. And Mendoza, well, he seems to be trapped there, but I believe his feet are close to the ropes. But he doesn't ask for the break, instead he reverses the move. He gets a nice wrist lock there. Yorghos trying to roll through, but Mendoza holds on. This time Yorghos uses the rope to his advantage, and he is able to counter. And now Mendoza again finds himself shoulders down on the mat. But again, unfortunately for Yorghos, only able to get a 2 count. Yorghos with a powerful back body drop. Don't think Mendoza was expecting that one. Powerful forearm blows there from Yorghos. But pure brute strength there from Mendoza. But he's wasting his time going for a cover. And indeed, covering with 1 foot is an absolutely preposterous action. And a public warning there for Mike Mendoza, blatant closed fists. And he's even bragging about it. He just landed Yorghos with a couple of hard lefts and rights to the ribs and midsection. And now a headbutt. Skull to skull. Noggin to noggin. And that's what you call using your loaf. And Yorghos is going to have a shiner after that one. Mendoza looks for that full Nelson. And say what you like about Mendoza, but he is wrestling a great match and using all the tools at his disposal. We've seen him use power moves. We've seen him use his fists illegally. And we have seen him use some great scientific and technical holds, including this perfectly executed full Nelson. And that is just forcing Yorghos to carry Mendoza's entire body weight. And that is what they call a rest hold. But it's a rest hold for Mendoza, but it's not a rest hold for Yorghos, because he has got to do everything he possibly can to avoid basically being rendered unconscious. Mendoza continuing to apply his body weight. I think that hold may have loosened a little. Yorghos still on one knee. Powers back up to both feet. Looks for some sort of jawbreaker, doesn't get it, and finds himself back in the arms of Mike Mendoza and that wretched full Nelson. Perfectly executed, the fingers are locked. Yorghos is fading fast, and quite frankly, I don't think there's any escape for him. And we might be moments away from a new champion. The referee's going to have to check the hands. Well, the hand goes down once. If it goes down 3 times, then the match will be stopped. It goes down a second time, and Yorghos is out cold. And if it goes down one more time, we've got a new champion. We've got a new champion. No! The arm stays up. The arm stays up. And somehow, from deep within, Yorghos, he was fading fast, but now he's fighting back. Does he have the strength? Does he have that adrenaline? Does he have the power? He just might. This time he gets it. The Bulldog plants Mendoza, nose first into the canvas. Both men tired, both men down. The referee makes his count. He's nearly halfway there. Mendoza, the first man showing signs of movement. Both men still down. Finally, Mendoza up to his knees. Both men now up to their feet on the count of 7. It's a beautiful leg drop from nowhere. A drop kick to the back of the head from Yorghos. I believe the Japanese call that an enziguri. Mendoza back up to his feet. Mike Mendoza finds himself on the outside. Yorghos comes over the top with a flying crossbody. He just launched himself over the top rope and used his own body as a missile to take down Mike Mendoza. And Mendoza might not even be able to get back into the ring after that. Now Mendoza throws a chair out of pure desperation. And he's lucky not to get a blatant disqualification from that. But instead, while the referee's clearing the ring of the detritus, a low blow from Mendoza gets Yorghos into position and powerbombs him into the top corner. There's a method to the madness. Mendoza threw that chair in and he never had any intention of using it. But while the referee was removing it from the ring, Mendoza was able to get that low blow on Yorghos. And that left him prone to a devastating powerbomb right into that top turnbuckle. If Mendoza hits a second, we will have a new champion for sure. But Yorghos had his wits about him, rolled over the top of Mendoza, and it's all over. It's all over. Yorghos retains the championship. Mendoza was dominant, but Yorghos walks away still the LDN British Heavyweight Champion. Can we take a look at the replay? Take a look. Mendoza hoisting up for the second powerbomb, but Yorghos rolled all the way over and using every ounce of strength left in his body, able to pin those shoulders down to the mat for 3. And Mike Mendoza has got to be disappointed with that one, because he came very close indeed to being crowned the new LDN British Champion. Fans, we are just about out of time, but a big congratulations to Jetta for her win. Another thank you again to Elspeth Barthrop for sending in that lovely homemade LDN jumper. And most of all, congratulations to Yorghos Christopoulos successfully defending the LDN British Championship right here on Capital TV. My name's John Atkins, and we'll see you next week on the Fight Network.